While we're on the topic of float and or sensory deprivation tanks, here are a few more tips I can throw at you. It has been a good, probably like 2 or 3 years since I really talked about float tanks on the channel, I think. Anyway, so if you're going to go to a float tank, you really should have some sort of plan. And in my opinion, you really should meditate in it. I mean, that to me is what float tanks are basically meant for. It's like the most ideal environment possible, essentially, to meditate, because all your other senses can get kind of dulled out. So you can really focus on, focusing, mentally or internally. I covered one meditation approach you can do in the float tank with that heartbeat meditation I talked about a couple videos back. I got a bunch, if anybody out there wants to know of any of them, let me know. I'll be happy to shoot another video on it, or, just kind of work with you directly. Give me your email. We can email, or we can hop on a call or something, Instagram live, and I'm happy to help you out with that as well. But you really should have some sort of meditation plan or approach when you're going into it. I guess also wrapped up in that, if you don't meditate at all in waking life, like maybe you've never even really tried meditating in waking life, should you go hop into a float tank? In my opinion, no, probably not. You should probably, at least have some sort of waking life meditation practice before going to the tank, just so you don't kind of waste your time in there. Over the years, I've taken many people to the float tank with me. And, the people who aren't really into a meditation practice, a lot of times they'll come out and be like, man, that was kind of boring. Like, I didn't know what to do in there. And plus, I make them go for the full 90 minutes because that's how long I go. And they're like, can feel really long to them. So it really can be beneficial to have some sort of meditation practice ahead of time, even if that's just like, for 1 week before your float. Try spend 10, 20 minutes meditating each day to kind of figure out how you want to go and approach things in there. Can really go a long way. Then, of course, it's the obvious stuff, don't drink a bunch of caffeine before going in there. Although, small amounts of caffeine can work for the float tank and also be beneficial just for a regular waking life meditation practice as well, to kind of keep you from wanting to fall asleep. What else? Oh, so of course you should go in totally naked, right? Because you can feel your clothes on you. That kind of defeats the whole sensory deprivation thing if you can feel your clothes. Although with the one exception, totally naked, but I like to wear a watch because I find, just being in there, if you don't actually know how long you've been in there, that little nagging thought in the back of my head, like, oh, when is this music going to come on? How much time do I have left? Especially if you do happen to fall asleep for really any amount of time, or just kind of lose conscious awareness, and you kind of come to like, man, was I out for 10 minutes or like an hour? How much time do I have left? That kind of thought can really start to mess with me. So simple solution, wear a watch. Boom, easy and done there. Oh, and also you will take a shower before going into the tank, right? You don't want to get their water all dirty and stuff. But because what I find, you're not showering at your typical house with your type of soap, and my skin's kind of sensitive. So if I don't use essentially like Dove soap or some kind of moisturizing soap, my skin gets all dried and I get itchy. So I guess maybe you could bring your own soap, but really the main recommendation is wash everything clean, but leave your face alone, because there is nothing worse than being in there with a really itchy face, especially if it's like by your eyes or something, because if you get this really salty float tank water in your eyes, man, it burns super bad. So you want to keep all these nice natural oils on your face ahead of time. So, make sure everything else is clean, but then leave your face nice and oily so when you get in there, even the same goes for your stomach, because your stomach and chest will kind of stick out the water as well. So you don't want to get the water dirty, but maybe even if you're going to get, like, if you think the soap's going to dry out your chest or stomach and make that itchy, maybe even leave that, right? Maybe even leave that unsoaped. You can just rinse it off with water, so so you are majority clean at least. You think, what else? That's all that comes to mind at the moment. If I think of something else, maybe I'll throw in another video. Or if anybody else has any questions about float tanks or sensory deprivation tanks, feel free to send them my way. Happy to make a video, happy to hop on a call or chat with you, or, email and whatever. So until then, keep the float tank practice legit.